everyone, welcome to day 29. We're almost at the end, day 29 of the Learn How to Study Abroad in 30 Days series. If this is your first video within this series, then welcome. You're almost at the end. So watch this and then click into the playlist and start from day one and watch the videos all the way through. I think it's going to be really helpful for you to just get this whole sense of what we've been doing here for these past 30 days. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about ready, set, go. Now that you are sort of ready to go, you've done everything that you need to do for your study abroad program and you're ready to actually get started and go, what does that mean for you? What does that look like for you before you actually set off to go on this journey? We're going to go ahead and dive in now. Okay, so we are on day 29 of day 30. I think the end is near. So we are just talking about some of the things that you can do to close the loop before you would go on your study abroad program. So, are you ready to go? This is a question that as you are, you may have already packed up or you're getting packed up in this stage of the process. And so, are you ready to go? Have you done everything you need to do? I can go ahead and tell you the answer is no. You're never going to do everything that you need to do. It's just like, again, if you're going on a vacation, you have this entire list of things and yeah, you've checked most of it off. There's always going to be something that you forget. Luckily, in this instance, you have people back home who are going to be able to help you fill in some of the gaps, but the time is now to sort of get ready to go. So there are lots of things that I think that you can do to sort of tie up loose ends and close loops, but I picked out 3 specifically that I think people don't talk about enough and that I think are going to be really important for any study abroad student as you move forward and as you get to the stage of where you're getting ready to go on your program. So 3 key things to do before you go. The first thing is to close loops on campus. So particularly if you are a current college or university student, or even if you're in high school or secondary school, you want to close a loop on things. So if you are in the middle of your studies and you need to register for classes for the next term or next semester, make sure that that's already done. Make sure that everyone who is a key stakeholder on your campus knows where you are or knows what you're doing. So anyone from your on-campus landlord, if you have that, or residential advisor, or your regular advisor, your financial aid advisor, whoever those people are, make sure that they all understand how long you're going to be gone, what you may need to reach out to them for while you're gone as well, and just close that loop. The next thing you're going to want to do is add bank notifications. Now, in my budgeting guide, which is linked below that you can download, we go deeper into talking about budgeting. And this is something that I put in there. This is something that a lot of students don't really think about, but it's really important because, I don't know, I mean, I would say over the past 20 years, obviously banks have gotten more sophisticated, definitely over the past 10 years, where they're really, really on it about fraud, which is great. The only thing about that is that you don't want them to be on it when it's you trying to make a purchase or you trying to do it. But a lot of times they don't know what's going on. So it's wonderful as the consumer to be able to say, well, my bank protected me from fraud. But if you're thousands of miles away studying abroad and you need to get access to money and they block it either automatically or someone is going through and blocking it because they don't notice it and they consider it fraud, that's not going to be good. So one of the things that you can do is, depending on your bank, you can either call in directly or you can email or you can send it through the secure online portal, is to add bank notifications to all of your accounts. Now, for a lot of you, your parents can do this. It really just depends on whether or not you have your own accounts or even if you're using credit cards or debit cards or whatever type of card or checks that are related to your parents' accounts. Have them do this for you. And it's really simple. All you're doing is you are just letting your bank know that for these accounts, these card numbers, I want to make sure that this person has free access to everything. And so what you're going to do is you will provide them with details on your program. So I am going to, let's say, Germany, and I'm going to this part of Germany for between this date and this date. And I'm also potentially traveling throughout different parts of Europe. And I do not know how much I'll be spending each day. However, I want to just put that on my account. And here's the contact information of where I will be while I'm away. So all of that info that they have. Now, it doesn't mean that if you do that, and let's say you're somewhere overseas and you're trying to make a huge purchase, that they still won't block it as fraud because maybe they weren't expecting that huge purchase, which is why if you're going to be doing something like that, we always recommend that you reach out to the bank anyway. But it gives you a higher chance of not just being blocked of if you had to go to 3 different ATMs and the first thing they're going to be thinking is, let's say you really did, because I've had this happen to me where you have to go to more than one ATM while you're out and about during your study abroad program. And the first thing they think is that someone has stolen your card and they're just trying to pull out all your money, right? Or maybe you forget the ATM pin, or what things happen. And so the thing is that having those bank notifications, even though they don't completely stop the bank from just blocking whatever transaction is from fraud, they at least highlight it so that it's more likely to go through. So definitely have those bank notifications on there. Last but not least, you want to copy important documents. So I talk about this in the mini course as well, that you want to make sure that you have copies left at home, at least one set of copies, even more than one, left at home. And then also for things like your passport and your visa, and birth certificate maybe, but things like that are going to be important. You also want to have a paper copy in your suitcase somewhere. This is just that if anything gets lost or if something goes wrong, you have the copies of those things. And you also want to leave a copy or two at home with someone that you trust so that they can help you if something were to go wrong. For example, if you lost your passport or whatever it was, if you needed verification for that, you can head over to the embassy, and then maybe someone from home can fax over what you have so that they can be like, okay, this is the person. We can then go ahead and provide them with a replacement, or however that's going to work for you. Make sure that you make copies and that you have some paper copies left behind. So those are 3 things to think about in terms of what you will need to sort of have on hand before you go. There's so many others, but these are 3 that I want to highlight that I feel that are often overlooked. And so I hope this video was helpful for you. Definitely take heed to what we talked about in terms of the 3 key things. In particular, making copies of all your documents. I know that for a lot of my younger students out there, they're like, what is a copy machine? Well, you're going to have to learn what it is and you need to use it. I'm just being facetious. I know that most of you know what it is, but you don't really do copies. You just send everything digitally. You need some hard paper copies with home, at home with people that can at least help you out if things go bad. And then of course, the other steps that we talked about too. If you have not checked out the free mini course, definitely go ahead and download that. It's going to be useful for you. It takes about 90 minutes to get through. And in that particular mini course, I have an entire module that talks about how you sort of go about looking forward to going abroad, and also how you're going to get adjusted once you get there. So check that out below. I will see you tomorrow for the last day in the series, day 30. See you tomorrow.